It was the most wonderful, passionate night of either of our lives!
Myra's kidnapping of the boys is incredibly frightening, and I'm convinced that she's actually killed them many times before.
FlynnsArcade.
Hi, this is FlynnsArcade, and this is my video about the Venture Brothers episode, I Know Why the Cage Bird Kills, with special reference to this book here. Let's go. This episode introduces two new characters, Dr. Henry Killinger, who manages to successfully reunite the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend, and Myra Brandish, who kidnaps Hank and Dean because she believes that she's their long-lost mom. This is one of the more exciting episodes, and here we see a brilliant action sequence when Myra attempts to run over Brock. I mean, that's just so cool. It's Pete Brock, and it really is him at his finest. And we also get this action sequence on the part of Dr. Ex-Girlfriend.
Hey, what are you doing? That's alarmed.
Yes, I know. I'm the one who installed it. Now shut up and follow my lead.
Well,
I don't think I've seen Dr. Ex-Girlfriend doing anything resembling martial arts or acrobatics before, so this is a really epic scene, and it's a really nice piece of character development as well, because we learn here that Dr. Ex-Girlfriend has some real talents that perhaps we haven't seen before. There's also some horror in this episode. Myra's kidnapping of the boys is incredibly frightening, and I'm convinced that she's actually killed them many times before, but I'll talk about that later in this video. There's some quite nice cultural references in this episode. Myra's hideout evokes memories of Bates Motel in the movie Psycho. Myra also quotes the song True by the new romantic band Spandau Ballet at length during a rant towards the boys.
You know it to be true. So true. Funny how it seems always in time but never in line for dreams.
okay, we're losing her again.
I bought a ticket to the world, but now I've come back again.
Gary talks about spin art to Dr. Ex-Girlfriend, which is a reference to a style of painting that was popularised at the time by the artist Damien Hirst. The scene with Dr. Killinger and the Monarch and the various henchmen is a reference to the Stanley Kubrick film Dr. Strangelove. And the backstory of Myra and Dr. Venture's relationship is a reference to the film The Bodyguard, which stars Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. There's some pretty good jokes in this episode. One of them's slightly disturbing, but let's have a look at it now.
Orpheus, you're gonna love this. Check me out. Huh? I'm Catherine the Great's horse, to teach you a lesson about biting off more than you can chew. My partially lovely assistant, Miss Manyface, will be playing the part of Catherine.
So, yeah, that's pretty gross. From all accounts, the story about Catherine the Great never happens. Dr. Orpheus also calls that out as well within this episode. But it's a story that I remember somebody told me at university, and it's always stayed with me, even though it's not true. It's what Catherine the Great was possibly most famous for, even though it never happens. But the scene with Dr. Orpheus and the Master happens quite early on in the episode, but then right at the end, we see this really nice callback from Myra.
She'll be all right.
I feel like Catherine the Great.
Where's Dr. O?
So, yeah, it's quite funny, really. I just like the callback. Dr. Venture and Myra's romance provides quite a bit of humour, as we're going to see here.
Something would happen sooner or later.
Ew!
No, it was not Oogie! It was the most wonderful, passionate night of either of our lives!
So that's all kinds of wrong, but it's all kinds of funny too. If you haven't already, please could you subscribe to my channel, because I'm on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. As the bigger this channel goes, the more videos I'm likely to make, because I really would like to get monetized, because it's my dream to actually make more and more of these videos. There's an awful lot of character development in this episode, and we meet two new characters. This is the first time that we meet Dr. Henry Killinger.
Number
Killinger.
Dr. Henry Killinger, and this is my magic murder bag.
Who naturally arouses the suspicion of some of the more grounded characters.
I can't believe you guys are falling for this sheep in wolf's clothing. He's trying to destroy us from the inside. How can you not see that?
But he's a force for good in the lives of everyone he decides to help out. He works as a diplomat for the Guild. He's a combination of the real-life historical figure Henry Kissinger and the fictional magic nanny Mary Poppins. And we also meet Myra Brandish, who's a mentally ill woman who believes she's the boy's long-lost mom. The following clip makes me believe that she's actually killed the boys many times.
How come we don't remember her then?
Like you don't remember because you're close.
You see, Brooke spells it out there, but the reason why I think she's killed the boys many times is because the boys don't remember what happened at the point of the death. Their memory resets to the morning that they woke up on the day that they died. So the fact that Myra has caused havoc in the lives of the Ventures over the years on several occasions and the boys can't remember it makes me think she's actually killed them a few times, which is pretty terrifying. It was quite a bit of fridge horror there, because I went off and thought about this and actually I came to this conclusion just a few days after watching the episode. I thought, wow, that's really dark. So the many encounters that the boys have had with Myra have always ended up in tragedy, and tragedy was only narrowly averted in this episode.
Your father had me locked me away, so he could have you all to himself, so he could fill you with his lies. He never once told you about me, has he? Not in all your 19 years.
In that clip, as we can see, that she kept them tied up all night, and I get the impression that she could have just continued ranting indefinitely. She's not actively violent to them, but a neglect could easily finish them off. I mean, they've not had any food or water for a long time, they've not slept for a long time, and if this went on for days and days, which potentially it could do, because when she's off on one, she's off on one, yeah, it could finish them off. Myra is heavily implied to be an animal hoarder.
And here are your brothers and sisters. They're hungry. Oh, my babies! You must be starved too!
So in that disturbing clip, we see that she's got quite a lot of cats, and she also refers to them as Hank and Dean's brothers and sisters. It's quite possible that she is an animal hoarder, and that's an interesting psychological condition. Animal hoarders often, they're not cruel to their animals in an active way. Usually they actually care deeply about their animals, but because of various problems that they're having, they ends up neglecting them, and that can seriously harm their animals. So it looks like Myra might suffer from that condition, and this could lead to her unwittingly causing a lot of harm to Hank and Dean if they remain in her care for long enough. To make Myra even more terrifying, she worked at the Venture compound as Brock's predecessor, so she is just as physically tough and well trained as he is, which makes her even more terrifying. Her backstory is shown here, where she's shown to be very competent and attractive.
He was my first job. Fresh out of the OSI Academy. I was still just a girl, what did I know? Never let your guard down. Never let him out of your sight. Never fall in love. That's what they taught me, but I couldn't help myself. Your father. I spent 24 hours a day with him. First there were casual glances. The occasional...
And so she looks really professional and competent there. And so I can't help wondering what exactly happened to change her from the female Brock to the person that we see now. I've got some theories, but it is quite a descent from hero to zero. And here we see the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriends getting reunited by Dr. Henry Killinger.
Here, give this to the lovely woman. And this is for you. Mr. the Monarch's journal. His love for you is spelled out on every page. And there are some very nice drawings also.
That's really nice, because as a viewer, we already know just how deeply the Monarch cares about Dr. Girlfriends, but it took something quite major for him to finally admit up to it. I don't think he ever would have admitted up to it, but, Killinger actually, sorts out this problem, and you know, and everyone's in a much better state as a result of this. I mean, Dr. Ex-Girlfriend hasn't been happy with Phantom Limb, as we've seen throughout this season. The relationship has not been going very well. She's actually quite bored, and you know, it's not a good situation for her to be in, and so it's really nice to see them finally getting back together. In this episode, Gary is so concerned by the presence of Dr. Henry Killinger, he decides to team up with Dr. Ex-Girlfriend in an attempt to bring order and stability back to the cocoon.
Do not follow me. Just stay here and do whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I'm totally falling for her. Well, thank the maker, I've been holding that back.
So that's going to become its own story, and this is the first time we've seen it, that he has real feelings for Dr. Ex-Girlfriend. Gary gets some more character development here.
I thought I was rescuing you. What did he do to you? What's in his magic murder bag?
Dude, have you even talked to him? He's great. He's like Mr. Belvedere.
He knows nothing about honor or living by the sword. He is not like us.
What are you talking about?
Seriously, that Killinger guy has brainwashed the whole cocoon.
Man.
So throughout season 2, we've seen Gary and 24 starting to, you know, part ways slightly. I mean, it's not a major thing, but they do disagree with each other slightly from time to time, and this is yet another element of this. And couple that with his, you know, newfound attraction to Dr. Ex-Girlfriend, we can really see some massive character development happening with Gary right here. And there's some nice character development on the part of the often forgotten member of the Venture family, Helper, here.
That's beautiful, Helper. What was that, Shel Silverstein? Well, I don't think Maya Angelou was talking about this chick.
So the fact that Helper manages to quote the whole poem by Myra Brandish, I mean, that's quite a long chunk of it. It demonstrates that whilst he is a robot, he definitely has some real poetry in his soul. And that quote is also the name of this episode, I Know Why the Cage Bird Killed. So Helper's artistic ways really have a huge influence on this episode. One of the themes of this episode is moral ambiguity. Dr. Killinger is technically a bad person. He has a magic murder bag which contains an actual demon.
Come, liebe Schuster, you tried your best. Yes, you failed to reunite them, but look at it this way. You saved his boys, and that's what counts. Compromise, my friend, is the essence of diplomacy, and diplomacy is the cornerstone of love.
That's a really beautiful quote, and you know, it's really stayed with me over the years what he says there. In reality, he's actually an angelic figure who goes around reuniting estranged couples. Myra was a good and heroic person at the start of the saga. She was basically a female Brock, but has been corrupted by her lifestyle and her mental problems. But she isn't evil as such. She honestly thinks that she's rescuing and deprogramming her sons from the same lifestyle which ruins her. So onto the rating. I'm giving this episode a full 10 out of 10. I usually rewatch episodes a few weeks before making these videos. And this episode has really stayed with me. It was great to meet Killinger finally, because he's obviously a really epic character, but it's actually Myra who really stands out in my opinion of this episode. The storyline with Myra is genuinely disturbing. As we know now, canonically, she isn't the boy's mom. There's plenty of evidence in this episode to suggest that at some point she actually was. The story about her relationship with Dr. Venture is, you know, it's really plausible. I mean, they definitely did have a relationship, and I think it actually went on for quite a long time as well. And the idea that she was kept away from the boys due to being so dangerous is actually, you know, a really sad storyline. I also wonder what exactly happens in order for her to descend from being basically a female Brock to the nightmarish figure that we see now. One of my favourite aspects of the Venture Brothers is its strong use of characterisation, and this is a really big episode for that, and that's why I like it so much. As an aside, I've got some really exciting Venture Brothers news that I learned this morning. It turns out that Netflix, well at least the US version of Netflix, is going to show the Venture Brothers on there from August onwards. So that's really exciting. I hope it'll bring new fans to the TV show, because I'm sure, because people see it, I'm sure they'll like it. I mean, if anyone's into Smiling Friends, they might decide to give the Venture Brothers a go, and then hopefully the show will attract a load of new fans. And also it might just bring back a few people who haven't seen the show for a long time, but because it's on Netflix, they'll give it a go. And I can't help but feel excited to see the Venture Brothers on a major streaming platform. I mean, obviously it's been on a few major streaming platforms for a while, but getting on Netflix, I just find it really exciting. So if you've got any friends who are kind of casual Venture Brothers fans, please just share them this, because they might want to know about it. It really is quite exciting. I actually bought the complete box set of the Venture Brothers because I started to worry about it being removed from streaming platforms really recently. I've not opened it yet because I don't know where my DVD player is, but it looks great anyway. I've just enjoyed looking at the cover, and so there's maybe a lesson in that, because I recently had some problems where I wanted to watch an episode of Metalocalypse and it wasn't on the streaming platform that was watching it on, so that made me want to think I should start buying physical media of my favourite shows. So here it is, and I'm really quite excited to own this. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy this episode as much as I did? Do you agree with my theory, well, my various theories about Myra, one that she's actually unalived the boys many times, the other one is that she was canonically their mum at some point, and then that got retcons in some way. Let me know. Let me know if you dislike this episode. I mean, I obviously really like it, but I'm sure that some people might not have enjoyed it as much as I did, so let me know what you think. If you don't know what to say, just drop me a Go Team Venture or a Spanakopter or an Ignore Me, because apparently comments really help the channel grow. My next video is going to be about the Venture Brothers episode Viva Los Muertos, so please stay tuned for next week to see that one. If you've enjoyed the video, please could you drop me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'm on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I really would appreciate it. Please check out my playlist on the Venture Brothers, because I've made a lot of videos about them, so hopefully you might enjoy those too. So unless anything comes up in the meantime, I'll see you next Sunday.